You know, your tongue isn't really responsible for playing accents on the trumpet. Something else is. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to play accents on the trumpet and what the real driver is behind good accents. And note, this is also going to apply to other brass instruments as well. Okay, so we get these little notations in our music. They're kind of like arrows without their tails. Those notations, and of course all of the others, give cues to the musicians so they can play the music with the character the composer was aiming for. And when we see that symbol here, that one for the accent is actually referring to the beginning of the note, as in how we start the note. Now, later in the video, I'm going to address a couple of variations to accents that you're going to want to be aware of. But first, let's just talk about regular accents. It would seem that the tongue has to do something special to play an accent. I mean, it's tonguing, right? But this isn't really the case. By itself, the tongue can't actually do much sound-wise for our trumpet playing. Or let's just say it doesn't work alone. And when it comes to accents, it actually plays a minor role. The true driving force between playing an accent is your air and how you use it. That is, how you put it through your instrument. For an accent, you need to put a burst of air through. It's that burst of air that creates the accent. In fact, you don't really need your tongue to play a note that has an accented beginning to it. And that's why I said its role is a little bit more minor. The way I see it, what the tongue does, and it's an important role, I don't dispute that, but what it does is it cleans up the start of the note. It gives it that nice pop that we covered in the last video on how to do single tonguing. If you haven't seen that video, there'll be a link in the description. How do you get good at playing accents? Well, you have to build two things, your power and your control. Then you'll be able to not only do accents that flow in the line of music, but also ones that are in more unusual and therefore surprising places. I'll show you that in a moment, because first we have to get our bodies building coordination so we get good at playing accents. And given we already showed that it's our air that creates the accent, then one thing I suggest you practice is breath attacks and accented breath attacks. Down here is where the action is. That's where you kick on the air. And not too often I would say, look at my tummy, or a woman would say, look at her tummy. But this is where the action is. It's this power. As normally if we just play, it's just a steady. Just steady, holding the note. When we want to accent it though, that's where it happens. And that was no tongue. You probably could tell, but just in case, there was no tongue. You can go back and forth between breath attacks and tongue attacks. Just a smidge of tongue, lots of air. That's how we do it. You might think of it as releasing an arrow. You know, there's the build up, go. And an arrow is actually a great example of an accent, because that motion, that's go, is if you were playing darts, you wouldn't just throw it. It would land in front of you. You have to do it. So you could think of that if that helps. And you might get messy ones like that. Don't worry about it. This is your body figuring things out. Just let it do those. But keep going. Keep working on it, and it's going to start to get cleaner. Trust that it will start to get cleaner. It needs to do these shots to kind of get the sense of, well, you know, one will be okay, and then it's like, okay, try to do that again. Just keep giving it opportunities by practicing. Go back and forth between breath attacks with an accent to no accent, and just get used to that. This is a really great, you become really in tune with the air going through your instrument, the connection between down here where your muscles are moving it out, and it actually coming out. If you can spend the time feeling that connection. Just in, out. And then, in and out, and you'll have an accent. In, maybe more gentle. Let your lips respond. And if they don't quite respond, just give it a little bit more and a little bit more, and just play with that connection. Because this is going to help you in other areas of your trumpet playing, not just with playing accents. Just get used to that connection. Aim to match your tone so you get a nice full sound. The better you get at calling on your body to play accents when they show up in the music, the easier it will be to call on it to play the weird ones too, weirdly placed ones, because accents don't always land on beats or starts of phrases. I really suspended time to practice that, give myself, my head time to go, oh yeah, I got to do that accent, and then my body to respond as I want it to. And then this line or whatever line of music, you'd bring up the speed, and you'd start to maybe the next step would put the metronome on it at a slow speed, so you're starting to gain a sense of rhythm, the accurate timing of the piece. And then if whatever tempo you're going at, you can speed it up. But giving your body time to build that response, that coordination of putting the accent wherever you're being asked to put it. Let's move on to a couple of variations that you can and likely will encounter at some point. With your newly improving precision control over your accented notes, now go ahead and put them in the middle of a slurred line of music. I like doing this to emphasize the beat and put extra energy into what I'm practicing. A couple more examples are so moving on. Yep, my conductor recently wanted us to put accents at the end of those held notes. He wanted us to emphasize the end of the quick crescendos that we had in our parts. Talk about adding character. Accents in music are fun to play, and I actually really like playing them because of the energy through me they bring to the music. But they really, really do rely on your air, as I said at the beginning. If you're not playing with full, open tones that are centered, your accents aren't going to be as big or as easy as they could be. How do you develop a big open tone? Check out the video right here. It's how I start my practice sessions every day. That music played a key role in how I developed and now how I continue to maintain my big open sound and my big accents.